So, going to explain my trade today. This trade was pretty interesting, not gonna lie. Um, First things first, I did catch that it was news today at 8:30 in the morning, and I was looking to get in that beforehand. So, going off of, let me get my, going off of, make this a little bigger, a little thicker. So, going off of 7 to 7:30 and to 8 o'clock, I identified initial buy side and initial sell side liquidity. I noticed that, when news was 8:30, I wanted to get in for buys because my mindset after looking at the daily candle today was buying, because we have a bullish daily candle. So my thought process between 7:30 through 8:30 was to catch news and get in for buys. So after price kind of slowed down, consolidated a little bit on the 1 minute time frame, it created its primary sell side liquidity after sweeping out liquidity for a while, and it came back up. Didn't really take out the primary buy side liquidity, or sorry, it did take out initial buy side liquidity, which is here, and then it created a new primary buy side liquidity at this point. So my thought process was this was a setup for price to either sweep liquidity or fail to, or reject a fair value gap into news. So either or, one of that is happening. I know that right off bat. And it did exactly that. I did try to get in early. Got a little stopped out there, a little lost, which is fine because I know that price is gonna explode up. For one, it rejected sweeping out primary sell side liquidity. For two, there's a daily candle, which we haven't had in a really, really long time. And then three, I wanted price to really explode up during news. I think it was CPI, PPI, and it did exactly that. It exploded up, left a lot of space open for this inefficiency here, for a buy side fair value gap, and it took out relatively, I think, like all the way to the consequent encroachment of it, and then rejected, which is pretty good. It's a good sign. So it was a good sign for me in that moment that it was moving up. Now, even though I did technically missed it with my loss and missed it with the great timing, I still think it's the thought that counts. If I didn't see it, then that's just another reason to study more. But if I did see it, then it's a step forward. So what I did was I waited for all this jaggedness to become more clear. I seen that price did reject up on this relative equal high here, and it started rejecting. So I wanted to wait. My mindset is still buying. I wanted to wait for price to get to a key level where I can get in for a buy. Now my mindset, when I seen the New Day opening gap cluster down here, plus a volume imbalance on the daily, I definitely wanted to see price get down here to buy here, or see price reject off of this order block here from early around 7:30 and basically stop hunt everyone, stop hunt everyone trying to hold their buying positions from that initial news run. So when it came around that time, around 950 basically. It did come down to the order block, rejected at the consequent encroachment, came back up, and this is this was my second trade. I did get stopped out here in this little area, but I know that if there is a type of rejection, and if it is true, then it will still plan out really good. So I still stuck to my guns regardless the trade not working out. The reason why I got back in was specifically the fact that it was still giving me that opportunity from this candle here. So when I got in here and took that first loss, I think it was like something right here, and my stops was just like way too tight, and then I basically got stopped out prematurely. So when I seen this wick candle right here, I instantly knew that price did not technically, I want to say, with candles break through, and wanted to change my mind in that moment. So in this moment, if I didn't see candles physically go through the order block, or physical candles go through the hunting ground for people's stop losses from earlier news buying, then I will go ahead and buy that if it rejects off of that clear information that I'm thinking. So I went ahead, did that, I bought it, and I targeted the 930 first presented fair value gap, and I was actually I'm not doubtfully saying that. I'm saying that I was very good at executing and just letting price do its own thing, and taking partials, paying myself, which is very, very good at just taking your win and getting up from the table and leaving. Now, hadn't I done that, it would have been another loss. And after I took that trade and I got up and left with my money, I basically just wanted to continue on with my day at work and continue to just watch it here and there. I wasn't watching it the whole time, but when I came back to it, it was around this area. So when I seen it that it was past primary sell side liquidity, I said to myself, oh wow, price took out people's stop losses, so that means there's people still probably gonna buy it. But in the meantime, it's in this sell side selling price delivery, or selling run, or sell program, that it's not time yet to buy technically. So ignoring the order block and ignoring the hunting ground and ignoring this primary sell side liquidity, actually, let me just dim this because it's technically supposed to be dim. So I dimmed that, and we have, just draw it out with us to have this guy here, sell side liquidity, dimming that down, and then we have another sell side liquidity right here, which was actually rejected in the area that I was targeting. So I wrote that note down. Price came back to the cluster and then continued back to the lowest probable resistance, meaning after price delivers a liquidity run, is kind of like what areas that will make price prone to not give you much pushback to the bias you're looking for, or the bias that is the daily's bias. And going back to my original thought process, I was looking for buys anyway. This was the actual move that, not that I'm going to say I should have, but this is the actual move I was looking for. This is a perfect example. We have price going back to the cluster of new day opening gaps on top of making we got a nice change of character here. We have a nice fair value gap of buy side fair value gap, consequent encroachment being rejected. And me, I like getting in positions where key areas are rejected and you just trust the process with your technical analysis, with my technical analysis. But another thing too to point out, it did not sweep out primary sell side liquidity, meaning if it didn't sweep and it's also rejecting a fair value gap, most likely that kind of gives me a thinking process like, all right, this could be the area, and this could lead to a change of character, change of character, which will lead to price, moving to the opposing liquidity side, moving there either quickly or moving there gradually or moving there fast with like, two big candles or three big candles. This one was definitely gradually and very consistent. So, technically speaking, the trade was not supposed to be, ideally the trade was supposed to be like this. We could target first day 9:30, first day fair value gap stop losses. I usually put mine like 10 to 15, but technically speaking, we're supposed to do it like at the start of the second candle. So I like 10 to 15. So I'll just say 15 max, for example. That would be literally my stop loss. And now you can kind of see why, like, I'm supposed to be picky because my stop loss is super tight. I do not want to engage in like stuff that is going to give me pushback. I don't. So ideally, target first day fair value gap at 9:30, or actually, you could target the order block here from earlier, the consequent corrosion of it. Second, you can target the first day fair value gap, or third, you can target the primary buy side liquidity if it reaches up to that area. But if you were, or if I was to just be grateful for what I get, I would just stick with either the order block, consequent encroachment, or the first day. Most likely the first day would make more sense. The first day's fair value gap, because I feel like most of the time the first day fair value gap is always traded back to as like a key reference point, because that's what all it is like a lot of the stuff is trading back and forth like magnets, or gravitating towards a key reference point. So it's just back and forth movement into a directional bias. So I think I'm getting real closer and closer to the idea of like why I'm getting, I wouldn't say horrible results, because I'm still learning more about the black hole concepts, and I'm really sticking with it because it's still the beginning of what I like and what really worked for me. So that is pretty much it for today's trade. It was a really good, solid trade. So I'm not gonna beat myself up about anything that did or didn't pan out. I'm just just be grateful, take your money, get up from the table, walk away, come back tomorrow, and just study hard, work hard, and just keep improving day by day. All right, and